This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 7th day of October in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The government of Guyana, through the Ministry of Health, has removed the COVID-19 vaccination requirement for entry into Guyana. The decision took effect from today and was passed on to the Civil Aviation Authority and management at the airports and other ports of entry. Guyana had already removed the COVID-19 test requirement several months ago. The move by the government comes as the country continues to see a decline in COVID-19 cases. In the letter to the officials of the aviation sector and the National COVID-19 Task Force, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Narayan Singh, said travelers are still being encouraged to continue to observe the various public health advice to guard themselves against the virus. Guyana currently has just 2 persons hospitalized with COVID-19, while the number of new cases has been in the single digits for weeks. The country first implemented the vaccine requirement in 2021, as it was in the midst of a fight against COVID-19. As the number of cases continued to fall this year, the testing requirement was removed, leaving the vaccine requirement in place. More than 85% of Guyana's adult population has received at least 1 dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and almost 70% of the country is fully vaccinated against the virus, which has claimed more than 1,200 local lives. Guyana has now joined several other countries globally in no longer requiring a COVID-19 test or vaccine for entry. More news coming up in a moment.
Man, I've been getting this feeling lately. I don't know where it's coming from. I got this itch to win and win big, and I got to scratch it. Activate, scratch, win big with GTT's Blazing Hot Summer Promotion, which runs from July 1st to September 30th. Activate a data plan or bundle and receive a link to your digital scratch card every Saturday. Tap the link, scratch, and you can be a winner of one of our amazing prizes of electric bikes, TVs, laptops, tablets, food vouchers, and so much more. It's gonna be a blazing hot summer with GTT's Scratch and Win promotion.
Giftland Office Max, we're all about customer satisfaction. Whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance, we're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
The opposition coalition has made it clear that it remains fully supportive of the Guyana government's efforts to reconfirm the 1899 arbitral award in the border controversy with Venezuela. According to opposition member of parliament Amanza Walton Desir, who holds responsibility for foreign relations, there is no distance between the APNU-AFC coalition and the Guyana government on the matter of Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity. She said as the country awaits the International Court of Justice's reconfirmation of the 1899 arbitral award and judicial settlement of the issue, the opposition reaffirms its commitment to the rule of law and the belief in the correctness of Guyana's case before the International Court of Justice. The MP added that the opposition is confident of Guyana's vindication, and the APNU-AFC will continue to support the government's efforts in that regard. Earlier this week, Guyana quietly observed the 123rd anniversary of the 1899 Arbitral Award, which established a land boundary between the two neighboring states. Guyana continues to pick up international support for its move to the International Court to bring final settlement of the matter. President Irfan Ali raised the issue at the recent UN General Assembly, prompting a communique of protest from the Venezuelan government. Although Venezuela had earlier indicated that it would not have participated in the matter before the court, the country's attorneys have been present. The case was filed with the ICJ while the APNU-AFC was in government. Let's tell you now that the Alliance for Change has rejected a move by the Irfan Ali administration to offer old age pensioners a one-off cash grant of $28,000 instead of a significant increase in the old age pension. In making the announcement on Thursday, President Irfan Ali said the one-off cash grant will complement the other measures implemented by his government to reduce the financial burdens that pensioners may face at the time when the cost of living is increasing. But the chairman of the Alliance for Change, Kathy Hughes, said while the alliance is supportive of financial measures to assist the most vulnerable within the society, it believes that it should be done objectively.
Although many, including pensioners, might receive this announcement with jubilation, the Alliance for Change continues to reject the subjective, underhand distribution of one-off cash grants that continues to take place without a fair guarantee of equal distribution to all deserving, and with the requisite checks and balances in place to avoid the corruption we have seen in so many of these programs.
Pointing out that under the APNU-AFC coalition government, old age pension was increased from $13,500 in 2015 to $20,500 in 2019 without oil resources, the opposition member of parliament said with a booming oil and gas economy, the government can do much more than to offer pensioners $28,000.
The AFC therefore finds it totally unacceptable that with the windfall Guyana has received from our oil revenues, and talk from the government that we are the next Dubai of the world, that pensioners would receive only $18,000, a little over $100 to live on for an entire month. The fact that in fashioning this small donation, this small cash grant, the government did not see it fit to raise the pension base to ensure that any increase granted would not be a one-off, but would be received every month, is deplorable and testimony to how little they in fact care.
Asked what would be a fair sum to offer pensioners on a monthly basis, the opposition member of parliament said between $75,000 to $100,000 per month. She said as it is, the PP Civic Cash grant programs entail the handing out of crumbs to citizens when today's economy can afford so much more. She also said in the future the government should use existing mechanisms within the public sector to distribute grants, as against having their political operatives do so in communities. A leader of the Alliance for Change, Kemaraj Ramjatan, also renewed calls for the government to make public the list of names and addresses of persons who would have benefited from the various categories of cash grants. He said in the interest of transparency and accountability, the information should be placed on government websites for all to see.
Let it be known to the public so that we can scrutinize who are getting. Because right now, without the information on the website as we've been asking for, we believe that there is massive discrimination on grounds of ethnic grounds. And that is, it's like buying the votes, because the PPP has tremendous problems in its support bases, and what it is trying to do is to hand out monies.
To date, the government has issued cash grants to school-aged children, children living with disabilities, fisher folks, public servants, sugar workers, and flood-affected residents.
counting we. Yeah, we counting we. From region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Well, this serves to inform you that I have just completed the census, which is ongoing in 2022. It is my view that a census is important. It will allow us to understand the demographics in Guyana, among other things. And therefore, it is in that context, I think it is opposite that I say to people, be part of the census, ensure you're counted. It will contribute to the kind of data that is needed to do the kinds of analysis and projections in a society like ours. And if properly used, it can contribute to good governance.
Everyone in the country, we counting.
Doors and windows, Republic. Rooms and more, Republic. A brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come through and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Industrial lubricants distributor Sol Guyana has been ordered by the High Court to pay the Guyana Revenue Authority more than $2.7 billion in unpaid taxes, the tax collection body has announced. In a statement, the GRA said it also obtained judgment against the company for corporation tax owed in the sum of $2,713,212,000, together with the penalties and interest until the date of payment. In a separate ruling, the High Court also refused an application made by Sol Guyana for an order seeking an extension of the time to file a corporate tax appeal against the Revenue Authority in relation to several years of assessment that were raised and maintained pursuant to the provisions of the Income and Corporation Tax Acts. The court ruled that Sol failed to satisfy the precondition for a tax appeal and set out by Section 98 of the Income Tax Act. GRA had argued that the company has no right of appeal under Section 86 of the Act, and that no extension of time beyond the lapse of the statutory period could be considered where there is no right of appeal. The GRA also said that the court also found that the full payment of disputed taxes or the lodging of a bond or a guarantee to the satisfaction of the Commissioner General is a precondition before the right of appeal against an assessment under the Income Tax Act can be exercised. And due to Sol's failure to secure and place a bond before the Commissioner General for him to determine whether or not it is to his satisfaction, at the time they requested one to be lodged, has frustrated the company's right of appeal in the circumstances, the release stated. 11 orphanages are in line to receive significant financial backing as the Embassy of China, together with corporate Guyana, have thrown their support behind First Lady Arya Ali's Adopt an Orphanage program. At the ceremony on Thursday at the Hope Children's Home in Enmore, the orphanages signed memorandums of understanding with their respective sponsors for a duration of 6 to 12 months. Having recognized the difficulties orphanages were facing due to financial constraints, back in 2021, the First Lady launched a program with the intention of securing financial aid to support the homes. 8 orphanages were sponsored last year, with 3 more being added this year. In addition to the Chinese embassy, the other sponsors include Guyana Showbase Inc., the Marara Bank, Go Logistics, China Trading, Premier Construction, Uptik Ninon, Vitality Inc., Junior Sammy Guyana, Uptik Vision Care, and the Dr. Balwant Singh Hospital. The First Lady said this new phase of the project will include visitation to the homes by sponsors and volunteers. First Lady Ali also spoke of the important role orphanages play in the society by providing a positive environment for children to grow and have their personal needs adequately met. The initiative has been lauded, and the orphanages have praised the First Lady for her intervention, highlighting that her advocacy can lead to transformational changes that are needed at some of the orphan homes. The government's decision to withhold funding from the International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly Guyana does not augur well for its One Guyana mantra. That's according to the leader of the Alliance for Change, Kemraj Ramjatan.
The AFC views this kind of politics as wholly anti-national, and its consequences will create only deeper fissures within our ethnic communities, which manage by and large to coexist.
Since 2017, Ipatagy has been receiving monthly subventions from the government to offset its operating expenditure and carry out its program. However, things took a turn for the negative in September, when the Air Finale government, without any explanation, ceased all disbursements. News source understands that the organization at the end of August submitted its request for its September subvention. However, that request was met with no response. With no subvention for September and October, Ipatagy was forced to send a number of its staff members home. Mr. Ramjatan told reporters today that funding is being withheld, although the organization has been completely transparent and accountable in the management of its resources.
The continuing non-disbursement of funding by government to Ipatagy, notwithstanding the organization's complete transparency and accountability of its subvention and its stellar operational integrity, is an example of a vision of division by the PPP and its numero uno, Bharat Jagdeo, and its wannabe numero uno, Mr. Charles Ramson Jr.
The AFC leader said when the decision was made for Ipatagy to be given monies in 2017 for a decade-long recognition of African people, there was no public objection from the then PP Civic when it was in opposition.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
We've just completed our census interview. It's quite a simple process. Whenever the team comes to your home, kindly cooperate and get the interview done, because it's also important for the information to be available to us as a government to plan and implement our programs and projects for the development of Guyana, a development that you will benefit from.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
Rooms and more, Republic, a brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come to and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn some day into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, ex-government minister in Barbados, Donville Innes, has lost an appeal to overturn a U.S. conviction for laundering bribes connected to insurance contracts through a New York business. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit on Wednesday rejected arguments from Innes against his 2020 conviction on 3 money laundering-related counts for moving bribe money through the bank account of his friend's dental business. Innes was found guilty in connection with the receipt of $36,000 in bribes from Insurance Corporation of Barbados, paid in 2015 and 2016 to induce him to steer government work to the company. The money was first sent to a friend's Long Island, New York-based dental company, then transferred to him. He was sentenced in 2021 to 2 years in prison. Though Innes contested the charges at trial, on appeal his lawyer didn't argue over whether the bribery occurred. Instead, he tried to argue that the conduct wasn't technically money laundering because Innes didn't launder the money after it was sent from the dental business. Haiti is preparing to seek military assistance from the international community to confront gangs that have blocked the country's principal fuel port, according to the Miami Herald newspaper. The government of Prime Minister Ariel Henry plans to make the written request today to allied nations without specifying where the troops should come from. A representative of the Prime Minister's office did not respond to a request for comment. Haiti has ground to a halt since a coalition of gangs blocked a terminal last month. The lack of gas and diesel has crippled transportation and forced businesses and hospitals to halt operations in the country. It has also led to a shortage of bottled water, just as the country has confirmed a new outbreak of cholera. And finally tonight, international news. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has declared a state of emergency to address a crisis situation over an influx of migrants. More than 17,000 have arrived in the city from the southern border since April. Republican states like Texas and Florida have been sending migrants to Democratic areas in recent months. It's part of a row with the Biden administration as the number of people arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border grows. Since September, an average of 5 to 6 buses have been arriving in New York City each day, Mr. Adams said at a press conference. He said that 1 in 5 people in the city's shelter system is currently an asylum seeker. Many of those arriving are families with school-aged children are in serious need of medical care, the mayor of New York noted. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.